This build will probably be nerfed soon, so give it a shot while you can. It's worth noting that I don't actually think it's very fun to play because it is so easy. But the gameplay you are seeing here is Insane Nightmare, and is using the build I go over in this video. It's a very simple idea, and the build is basically just for combat, so you'll need to supplement it with whatever utility things your playstyle needs. Here are the steps to making it though. Step 1, I would recommend you just play the game however you want, because this build doesn't need to be made from level 1 or anything like that. You can just wait until you're about level 40, going into that mid stage of the game, and then get a Forgotten Elixir from a trader and then just switch into this. You can try and build it from level 1 if you want. I would recommend focusing on your weapons first. Normal 7 Days to Die playthrough things. The reason I say this is because you'll probably need to respec to fully optimize your magazines to make your endgame gear anyway. It's kind of just how 1.0 is. Step 2 is get the full assassin armor, and of course you're going to ideally want that at level 6 because it's going to have the strongest bonuses. You want the full set because you want the reduction in the enemy's search time. That is very important for this build. The other stuff is useful, but it is secondary to the completion bonus, and you'll want at least a machete. Again, ideally level 6. I'd also recommend you get a crossbow and an SMG when you can, as your other primary weapons of the build, as well as a 44 Magnum or a Desert Vulture, just because you're going to have points in pistols anyway. It's a good use of your ammo. Step 3 is to respec and dump those points pretty much entirely into the agility tree. You want to prioritize Gunslinger so that you can panic shoot if everything goes horribly wrong, and then you want deep cuts for your machete so that you can actually just play the game normally. Then for the actual build, you're going to want the sneak damage perk and the sneak perk. Ideally you'll want to get all 5 ranks, but that'll depend on how many points you have to invest into agility when you try to do this, but aim for 5 points as you level up. The end goal for this build is basically to just have every single perk in agility maxed out except for medium armor. This is a pure agility POI clearing build that you can use to supplement with whatever else you need, like Miner 69er or salvage operations, whatever you want to use. The perks are actually the simplest part of this build. Is a pure agility build. Step 4 is you want to find all the Urban Combat and Nightstalker books. Congratulations, you've entered God mode. Now step 5 of the build is going into whatever POIs you want to clear. You want to sneak, and specifically you want to sprint sneak as much as possible, because you will actually be sneakier when sprint sneaking thanks to the assassin boot. The biggest thing you need to do with this build, the one major weakness, is stay out of light. If you go outside, even in the moonlight, the whole build works a lot less effectively, which is fine in 7 Days to Die because most of your POI clearing combat takes place indoors. There's a few sections that are outdoors. You'll have to be a little bit more careful when you sneak, but indoors you should be practically invisible and silent, and at night you'll be even more deadly thanks to the Nightstalker books, and the Urban Combat books are just to give you some extra sneak bonuses that make sneaking a little bit more brainless. Like, it takes out a bunch of mechanics that you won't have to worry about anymore, and you can just sprint sneak through. Step 6 is becoming the Nightstalker. You're gonna need your machete. Remember to sprint sneak, stay in the darkness, and you'll one-shot everyone. You can clear entire POIs without being detected or even firing a bullet, and it's relatively fast. The time you do lose by sneaking around is gained back by the fact that you're just one-shotting all the zombies and having basically no resistance at all, even on Insane Nightmare. And the few zombies that you don't one-shot will probably actually take multiple sneak attacks from you because you're that stealthy, so you can take them down in 2 or 3 hits. Now, if you do get detected for some reason, maybe you're in light or there's just a really aggressive trigger that you can't sneak through, what you want to do is break line of sight, ideally, and then go back into sneak and wait a maximum of 10 seconds. With all the ranks of the sneak perk and the completion bonus of a level 6 assassin outfit, you will have a maximum search time of 10 seconds. Realistically, what's actually going to happen most of the time is you're going to sneak and the zombies are going to instantly forget about you, but it could be up to 10 seconds. If you do wake up a bunch of zombies and they're kind of walking around and it's hard to get the machete sneak attacks, that's where your crossbow comes in for picking them off at range. Then you might be wondering about Horde Night, and the key to Horde Night is very simple. Switch your assassin gloves or preacher gloves or commando gloves to boost your SMG damage, and use parkour to get around buildings and high fences and walls and just do a horde night like that. You don't need a base for this build at all. This playstyle in particular is very, very agile, and you can just outrun the zombies. Even on Insane Nightmare just requires good stamina management, so I'd recommend having a base backup if you're not confident in that. And the run and gun perk will stop you from having any movement penalties while reloading, so you can just sprint around forever, just reloading when you need to, jumping onto, you know, a high wall for a few seconds to get your stamina back, and spraying with that SMG. Ideally, you'll want a drum magazine, of course. And that's all this build is. It's just basically the suit of armor combined with the sneak effects of agility, combined with sneak attack modifiers. You'll want to get the covert cat's candy if you're really struggling to one-shot any particular zombie that's killing you. You'll get extra sneak damage from that. It really is that simple. This should be a short video. But here's a kill compilation of me clearing a tier 6 at night on Insane Nightmare, basically absolutely stomping it. So go, become the Nightstalker.